and welcome to We Women Want. That's our weekly show where we celebrate women, we celebrate the achievements, we look at problems, try and find solutions, and normally discuss areas that would be of interest not just to women but to everyone, to men and women in general. But today we are going to be taking a look at women's reservations. And of course, as is the nature of the show, we are going to be looking at it in a slightly different manner. We of course celebrate the fact that finally that women's reservations bill has been passed. But I also ask a question, do women really need reservations? Today's women are there, they're very confident, they're in your face, they go and get what they want. Some people may say this is an urban phenomena, but is it really so? We've seen rural women also coming into their own and asserting themselves. So my question to today's panel is of course, we compliment the fact that reservations are here, and we have with us Shazia Ilmi, who's a member of the BJP that has and piloted the bill and got it passed. She's a member of the BJP National Executive and a BJP spokesperson, and also an activist, someone who's been doing her bit and fighting for women's rights. So good to have you on the show. Kalyani Shankar, she's a former editor. She's also a columnist. She's written a book on women leaders, Pandora's Box, and she's someone who's followed the political life very closely, and she will tell us a lot about women in parliament. Deepika Bhardwaj, filmmaker, and what is interesting about Deepika is that she's an activist, but she's also someone who looks at the picture from both sides and has actually been fighting a lot for men's rights. She's saying, is the law slanted in favor of women? And we've had many interesting discussions on that point. But Shazia, you take the lead. Do we need reservations? Do today's women need reservations?
Well, there are many of us who don't need reservations. There is somebody like me who would never use the fact that she's a woman, she's a Muslim, to make that cut, because we are there because of our own merit and whatever caliber, intellectual caliber, political capital, moral capital we put into this business. But I think there is an issue with the entry level playing field, and at the entry level there are too many obstacles. And it has been largely patriarchal. So while the wives, widows, daughters of big political families and dynasties have it good, regular women, though there is ABVP, there is NSUI, there are women, more and more women leaders who come out from there, but still there needs to be a proper platform where you can have a calibrated and a systematic way where you can encourage women leadership from the grassroots to the top, representing our state legislatures and parliament, because the gap is abysmally wide. It is too much. I mean, the best in the last 20 years has been 14%, which is not good.
In fact, India's track record is globally not good also. But Kalyani, you've been seeing this fight from the very beginning, really,
Yes.
So how do you see it coming up? And when it's come up, it's a delayed women's bill. Let's also look at it from that point of view. So do we have some reason to celebrate?
Well, I'll go with Shazia in a way. You see, I mean, even earlier I'd been writing about this also. There is no need for a reservation. If a woman is really good, she could come. But now that we have it, what they have to do is to utilize it to the full opportunity. I used to see a lot of women's association coming to parliament, asking them for the reservation. But in their own thing, they never did much, So it's all the women fighting woman kind of thing. You go to any, I'm sorry to say this, I am myself a woman. You go to any women's meeting, in the NGO meeting, they're always fighting. And even in this women reservation, at one point of time, they had offered 20%. Lots of bargaining was going on, and the government said 20% we'll give, and you go from there. That again, none of the NGOs accepted it, so that also went away. And at last, thanks to Mr. Modi, now we have got the bill. And having got the bill, I think we should certainly make use of it. It should not go to the
standing committees.
No, to the sisters, wives, that kind of thing, the Khandani thing. It will go on definitely, I'm sure, because imagine in UP and in Bihar and other places, how can a woman, Dalit woman or somebody or other come and then they say that I want to be an MP? But it happened in Bihar itself, though, there was one Bhagavati. She was, she used to break the stones, that kind of woman. She got a ticket and she came, she was in parliament, she didn't talk anything, but
Which
at least
party?
I was proud to see her, at least this kind of woman had come in here. That is what we should. I remember Phulan Devi. She was a very, very, she was very fond of her constituency. She used to get people, and then she used to stand outside Devegowda's room and Mamta's room. One time Mamta was a railway minister. I was witness to it. She came and then she fell on Mamta's feet. Mamta got frightened. Imagine this Fulan Devi coming and falling at my feet in that kind of thing. And she asked for something for her constituency. So there were very conscious women who had come from different strata. So I think in a way it is good, but having got it now, I think we should make the maximum use of it.
So Deepika, the bill is good, but not just for daughters and wives. Let's try and make the maximum use of it. First, I'll really like to know your take on it, because you always have a different take.
Priya, I personally think in 2023 we should not be talking about any reservations, whether it's gender or caste, I would also say, or any reservations whatsoever. I think we need to move ahead. If we want to look at a stronger future based on merit and performance, we need to look at a country which is not with reservation. That's what all the developed nations are. But having a background that, of course, there has been a lot of discrimination on these grounds. So there needs to be some leeway given to people who have been oppressed or who have been suppressed. But I think we have come way past that point. When we got our freedom, these reservations were supposed to be there for a couple of years, but we have gone on. Now it's 2023. As far as reservation for women is concerned, I think issue is also the same. And right now, statistically, Priya, the number of female members we have in the parliament, 55% of them come from a dynasty background. So nepotism is going to play a major role, even if we get 33% reservation. So I think it's an onus on the parties, it's an onus on these political establishments to actually give opportunities to women at the grassroots level, and not just do wife, daughters, because otherwise it doesn't make any difference. It's not really the women representative, it's really the men speaking through the women then.
Yeah, we also have posts like Sarpanch Pati and all.
I want to add to that. I want to just say something. So is the responsibility for empowerment of women and their elevation to a higher level of actualization, whether it's politics or other sectors, is it the zimmedari or responsibility only of women? No. As far the constitution goes, the mandate goes, is for all. So and there are a lot of gender just men. So I think this is not about men versus women. This is about gender justice, and there are many more gender just men than there would be women. Women equally are a repository of patriarchal beliefs. So if you look at Modi ji, if you look at women voters, 46% of women vote for Modi ji. Nitish ji. So I don't want to make it political. You see, Nitish ji has been very popular with women. Probably more than a lot of women leaders would be.
And
Naveen Patnaik.
Naveen Patnaik has been, yeah.
So these leaders, they're men.
Yeah.
But the woman is the center of all their welfare schemes, the thought process and the implementation, and it works around it. So it's not about women doing something good for women. It's we as a society, we as a parliament, we as a civilization, we as people doing something which is important. I mean, it's really sad to see more and more men there and very few women in between, interspersed in that huge crowd. When you see the parliamentarians, when you see the photograph,
Just 15%.
I would have liked to see many more saris.
That's true.
And mekhela chadars there. Then the kurta pajamas and safari suits.
That's true. Women are so much more interesting also.
Just look at us. Just look at us.
Yeah, I have followed the women reservation bill in parliament every time. And the basic thing I found was none of the men, they wanted to have the women's reservation. The
Secretly,
committees were, openly, committees were formed. Vijay Bhaskar Reddy was one of the heading the committees. Then I asked him, said, why you should give it? I'm just there, that's all. It is the committee, head of committee is saying this. And every party, I'm not saying in one party, Congress, BJP, of course, Samajwadi Party, you don't have to ask, RJD, you don't have to ask, they were against it. So that way I think it is the men, the male chauvinists, who did not want women to come up. Look at our own professions, Priya, how difficult it is for a woman to come up. It's a male society in a way. I remember I was the only woman reporter in Hyderabad. So, it was very difficult to function also.
Yes, and
So-
women
But
have
I
to
think the
be a certain way.
sector of media has the largest, I think, representation of women without any reservation, I
now,
would say.
not earlier.
But these women have come up through their merit, right? They
Yeah.
have not come up through reservation. So, of course, you have to fight. There is absolutely no doubt about that. So, the whole point is whether we have reservation or do not have reservation. And if reservation creates actually some kind of a privilege in the mind of people that, okay, this is got to be yours even if you don't deserve it.
But I
But
thank
it
God.
allows you
You
entry.
always have a man as a benefactor.
No,
As a patriarch.
absolutely.
You don't want that, you
absolutely.
see.
True.
So, I
There's
mean,
no-
the system would be good
And
and
they
more
actually
just
have
if the boss was, kinder and compassionate towards women, why should it be the system be dependent on the thing? There's a
And-
class
Then very
ceiling,
true.
even in
Very
media,
true.
and we've experienced that.
Yes.
So
I
if you're a
remember-
woman the way you are,
Yeah.
not just saying yes sir, no sir, not your fluttering eyelashes types, you do suffer. Because you're not. It's not the woman you are, but the kind of woman you are.
Yeah.
What
What
is
is the
sorry,
word-
I'm a colleague here. I'm not playing the woman card here.
Yeah.
That's very important.
What is the word you said? Rangoli committee.
Rangoli committee.
You're
Rangoli
not a-
committee.
I like that phrase.
You remember Geeta Mukherjee? She was a
Geeta
CPI
Mukherjee, yes,
leader.
yes, of course.
She was head of one of the women committees at that time. She came, her report was submitted, but nobody did anything in the government. I remember seeing her with tears in her eyes coming and sitting, look, these people won't do anything. This from a party, CPI, CPM, even there you don't have the Politburo. How many women are there? Brinda Karat is there in CPM, otherwise there is nobody else. CPI, I don't know, I don't think anybody is there now. And BJP, I am not sure if any woman is there among the parliamentary board members. Of course, Congress, it just give Ram ke baad se 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. Again, it is the same Kandani people, but they are given there. So that is how it is. Look at Samajwadi Party. I have no idea whether any parliamentary board kind of thing is there or is autocratic. You never know that.
Yeah.
So,
Regional parties are one man, one decision.
One man party.
And there was also, I've seen Rabdi Devi syndrome. You saw that.
Yeah.
Lalu goes to jail. There is a big case on. You make your wife. But is that woman leadership?
No, I went to see, Sajay, it will be very funny. I went to see Rabdi Devi and Lalu Prasad when she was the chief minister. I was doing my book, it was Gods of Power. It was about the dictators in democracy, Indian democracy. It includes all these people, Mulayam, Lalu, all these people, Mayawati, Mamta, all these people were there in that book. So I went to see her and Lalu was sitting in the front room and I went and sat there, they gave me tea, all that. A little away, I saw Rabri sitting and taking out the kadipata, that sticks, she was taking that out. I saw that. I saw that with my own eyes, I tell you. And so that is how it is. But then she never got into any trouble.
But we also got to see, Priya. I think we've had the former Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi. Of
Yes,
course, she
yeah.
comes from a lineage, but we have had very strong women
Assertive
leaders
women.
No, we have
without
many.
any
We
kind
have
of
many.
reservation.
At one point of time, there were 7 women heading their parties. This includes Mayawati, then Mehbooba Mufti, and then Jayalalitha, and
But
Mamta Banerjee, who can forget? She is really a calling card of women.
Okay, now I must say
But-
this.
but-
Mamta Banerjee, I want to say this. I have full respect to her, who has come into her own on her own merit and hard work. I don't want to take that away from others only because they're from political dynasties, because we're talking about women. But tell me, how many of other women that you just mentioned would have made it without their last names? I want to ask you. Very few of them.
Jayalalitha?
Well, no, Jayalalitha would also.
Jayalalitha
No.
would not have.
no, I want to.
If she did not have a mentor.
But we
She had a
have many
mentor, okay.
today.
No,
who ran the
Kashiram.
party?
No, I
Who
have
ran the party?
categorized the
Mayawati and Kashiram. Yeah.
I have done a lot of work on this subject. It's my subject.
True.
Priya,
There is no
I have-
doubt about it.
Only Mamta Banerjee.
No,
Yeah,
Priya, I
only
have
Mamta
categorized this. In this, one is a political dynasty which they come women, and then the second is the patron. Like Mayawati had Kanshiramal. Third one is like Mamta. Very few people come up.
So
with
how
that.
many are
this
like
is the
Mamta?
categorization. Not many.
Not many.
Not many.
I
But
can't
today, I
find-
think if we, late Sushma Swaraj ji, if we see
Sushma has
Nirmala
been there.
Sitharaman,
No, they are all second, third, not the first one. Number one, they are not there.
they have done extremely well on their own merits as well. It's
Yeah,
not that they
Smriti
have-
Irani.
Full serving finance minister.
Yeah.
Having been defense minister, look at Smriti Irani. I mean, all
Smriti Irani,
totally
of course
comes
there are-
from
Yeah, I would
very
say
humble
more
beginnings.
for Smriti Irani because she's also fought in Lok Sabha election and
Yes.
come,
But on the point of, that men do not want women to come, I just had a
tell me.
thought, Priya. What we really need to look at is also whether it's Jayalalitha or Mamta Banerjee, how much have these women actually given a leeway to women? If we think that women really need to come up and be a part of this, how much women have given, leeway to
To other women.
to
Yeah.
other women,
Yeah.
right? So that's also a thing. So
Like, look at
politics
Mamta
is
and
not
Mahua
about
Moitra. She's
politics
getting-
is about power. Let's understand
Yeah.
that very simple. Nobody wants to give the power to another. Men also have to fight it really, really hard, Shazia. Let's not forget that.
Yes,
right?
and Dipali, I'll say
Yeah.
something which will
Yeah.
make me very unpopular because people just see you as a category, woman as a category. You know, it's like this is how it is, caste as a category. And women are equally given to, I mean, I do understand that women have different abilities and they're extremely brilliant in what they do. But women have as much proclivity towards misuse of power, corruption. We've seen that.
We've
So
seen
let's
that.
not make women, paragons of virtues and epitome of all that is pious and virtuous. No, women can play the
This is
tough
what
game.
I love about this panel because it's calling it as it is. So stay with us. We're going to have some more of this conversation after a very quick break. Hello and welcome back to We Women Want. We're taking a look at the Women Reservations Bill, but we're also looking at it from a slightly different angle. Kalyani, before the break, we were talking about the fact that, yes, women deserve to come in, but women, when they're in, I hate to say this, behave just like men also in terms of, positioning, jostling. There is that happening. Have you seen any woman mentor that has mentored another woman politically?
Indira Gandhi,
Indira Gandhi,
she
yeah,
had brought up many people.
she did.
Some
Men
of
and
them.
women, yes, yes, I agree.
And apart from that, actually now Modi ji is doing that, I mean, I never expected him to give defense and finance the first time. I never expected that to be given to anybody. They are very coveted portfolios. Earlier they used to give, social sciences and
Always
things
no
like that.
women and child development. It was
Education.
always women for women and child
on
development.
of education. These are the
Oh,
things
okay.
they have given, and of course there are quite a few like that. Mehbooba also is there.
Mehbooba is-
Mufti also.
is,
But the point is, this is a strange country. We have so many dictators in their provinces. They function within their own limit, and then there is a central thing that also there's a dictator kind of thing. So how they function without clashing with each other is a very, 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 very strange and interesting
Way to
topic,
look at
I would
it.
say.
But Deepika, what I want you to look at is also like this time the bill was passed near unanimously, except for I think Asuddin Owaisi. Is this also a generational change? Akhilesh's father may have opposed it, Lalu opposes it, this one, Sharad Yadav opposed it. But today's generation of Yadavs are, I think also, they've realized that you cannot ignore the woman as a voter. So you have to.
I think there is absolutely no doubt about it. I am personally a fan of Mr. Narendra Modi. I really admire that man, not just because of any of inclination or something, but I think he's a man who walks his talk. Whatever he has said, he really does it, and he believes in the power of people, not just men, women, anything like that. But I cannot still ignore the point that he has brought it now when we are up for elections next year. The fact that the last elections, 48% of the electoral was women. So women definitely are a vote bank today, Priya. Everyone wants to woo them. Everyone wants to get their attention. We have, free phones doling out in Rajasthan. We have free bicycles, free 2,000 rupees, all kind
And
of
free
schemes are
ration,
coming.
that's also aim more for
Ration
women,
has always,
prohibition.
I think, been there, but now there are just so many schemes being launched for
For
women.
women.
Just for women. I cannot ignore the fact that it is for political purpose, and the fact that in their 2014 manifesto, BJP had said that they would bring this bill, but it's 2023 now, and even now I think the effect on ground would be seen after at least, if I may say, 8 years, probably 10 years.
29.
Yeah, 2029 after
So-
the census and delimitation. So, but the immediate benefit will definitely go to BJP the next year.
Shazia, how does the woman vote? Sorry, you can counter that, but also the women voter, because I know a lot of women have voted for Narendra Modi. So do women vote for a certain kind of leader, do you know?
Yes. I think women are very clear on that. I think women want real stuff. They're beyond slogans. So it's like whoever's good for their families and their homes and for their children. It's a very specific thing. Which is why in the direct benefit transfers, you're seeing that the women become the direct beneficiaries. When you see the Central Awas Yojana, you see the houses are being given in their name. So women are very clear. Like Nitish did very well with prohibition. He got all, Nitish Kumar ji, he got all the women voting for him because somewhere women felt safer and they felt that men would not go for liquor and all of that.
Prohibition,
So a lot of people were not in favor of that. So women are very clear. They have complete clarity. Whoever is good for their families and their homes, and so they want to protect that. They are very protective about that. They look at actual measures. LPG is an actual thing.
हाँ,
There is Izzat Ghar or Shauchalay or toilet, whatever you want to call it. It's an actual thing. These are concrete things that women can relate to, not just a slogan. So more than the reservation bit, what actually works in the interest of regular women are these mudra schemes of which women are beneficiaries. My favorite, I keep coming back to it, is toilets, 12 crores and more, almost 13 now. It's huge. It's massive. And that impacts women much more than reservation for 543 seats in the parliament, or 540, and which will become 888 after delimitation. So this is still a very small number we're looking at, even state legislatures. But you're looking at huge numbers of women out there, regular families, and what touches them, what impacts them, what actually makes their life a little better is what leaders should look at, men and women both.
I want to add to this, there are at least 2 women leaders, or 3 I would say. Jayalalitha, she was elected in spite of all the, what do you call that? She was named in so many of the cases also. So many scams, so many. But she died by that time, so it was. So she had set up canteens. 10 rupees, you get idli or one anybody. It's not only for women, for men also. She had done a lot for women, and she got, that is why the women vote bank was very safe. Same thing with Mamta also. And Indira Gandhi also got every house they'll have a light and so many things, and the houses. It was for both, but then she did certainly do things for her.
Can I add quickly? She's so right. If you see women leaders now, so I'm giving you all aspects. It's like a cube, you see, but look at Mayawati and administration. It was very good.
Yeah.
It's a fact. Look at Sheila Dikshit and what she did.
Yeah, Sheila Dikshit actually.
So we're not mentioning
I was about to
some
come
of the
to
biggest
that,
things. So in terms of administration, actual governance, tough administration, tough calls. Vasundhara Raje, one of the
very good
fabulous leaders.
Correct.
Rajasthan looked different, when she was there. I mean, I'm biased.
But I think what's really important is what you started this with, Shazia. Now that we have the bill, it's the onus on us women to actually optimize it to our best possibilities. The point where I'm coming from is when this whole Me Too movement happened, there was a lot of this thing that on the board, you need to now have a women candidate. But it hasn't really come across very, very beautifully as intended to. Again, all the business houses are putting one woman on the board just for the name's sake. So yeah,
tokenism.
I was also a
tokenism
member
is
in
something
some
which
medical
should not
team.
happen.
Yes, see, this is a good question, this point. But what do we have to, what happened with the reservations? We started talking about now the creamy layer. Now what is in this reservations, what can go wrong? What can go wrong is, and we have to watch out, and all of us are responsible for that, every party, every citizen, every woman, every man, and other genders that may be, that to ensure that again we don't fall into the trap of political dinas, less deserving candidates, a sympathy thing for a widow or a daughter or a wife, but a whole lot of women out there like regular karyakartas who will never have a chance in their lifetime to make that cut, to actually go identify, mentor, hold hand and take them ahead.
Yeah.
Because that's
You
what's
come back to the mentor again. So without a mentor, they can't do it.
But some women,
the mentoring is system to
Mentoring
say.
is needed for everyone.
Yeah,
man,
Yeah.
woman, anyone.
My prediction
someone who
about
doesn't have the same privileges as.
my prediction about the women's bill is that it
बताओ.
may take a long time to think of what we are thinking today. So of course, slowly it will begin. It depends on both the woman who's trying to come up and also her support from the family, support from the society. There are so many layers and layers. So she has to overcome all these to come to either assembly or
But also
parliament.
the opportunities, it depends.
Yeah,
if we
that
use
comes,
it,
yeah.
if the leaders use it just to promote their own family and wives, then you're stuck.
And look at
But if-
Parliament, Priya, you go, I think Meera Kumar, when she was a speaker, 2 minutes, it was called the noodle, Maggie noodle kind of thing. Come, open the thing, and then within 2 minutes, house was adjourned. So where do they get the time or, opportunity to speak in the house? Maiden speech was not made by many people. And I interviewed 60 women MPs for Lok Sabha TV. So 60, each one of them had a story. I told you, it was fantastic story, each one of them. So one of them, like Chandresh Kumari, she was Jodhpur princess. She gets up and she goes and prays before the elephant. So elephant will stand, I believe, that she'll go and do the puja there. And there are so many stories like that. In one woman, in front of her husband was killed. So she was given that ticket.
The ticket.
There were, each one of them have got fantastic stories. But still, you know, after coming to Parliament, they should get the opportunity to shine.
To
So
speak,
that is
yeah.
not there.
But
And
are
also
there
to get
some
tickets, they should also get tickets from winnable constituencies.
Winnable.
Yes.
That
You know,
was why.
that's so important. It's very easy to say, oh, some women are there, but you know, in Samajwadi Party, Dimple will get the constituency, which we all know she'll win from. But what about any other Garib Yadav ki beti? Will you give her a seat from, will she get from Kannauj or Tawa? I mean, that's a question.
Yeah.
This is the excuse.
This is,
But we also have to understand, Shazi, I'm not too sure of the numbers, but once they are there, they really need to push the agendas and you know, whatever for
Yeah.
the welfare of society. We have to understand how many bills have been presented by
Women.
women candidates.
and
right?
what are the bills that they bring
What
up?
are the bills that they have presented? Are they really up to the mark on the job that they have been given? So it's on us also to perform better. It's not, you know, we are getting opportunities right now, but I think after we get the opportunities, it is an onus on us to prove, and you know, not
So
really.
when you are
So
an
what are the
MP,
kind of issues that women MPs would bring up? You know, do they focus more on health, finance?
health definitely. Many doctor MPs are also that they want to talk about the health and also finance, and then you know some social service things for the constituents, and these are the things which they want to talk about. And quite often they get an opportunity to speak. Other times they don't get it.
But that
But, you know, Priya, the system is so biased. You just think about it. Let's say there are senior leaders in the party. Let's say I'm a spokesperson, or let's take me as a part outside of this equation, a regular woman karyakarta and a male karyakarta. Now the chances of men having that access, getting in anywhere, मैं गाड़ी में बैठ जाता हूँ, सर मैं आपके पास आ रहा हूँ, शाम को बैठे हुए, women can't do that. So things are difficult. You know, otherwise you'll be seen as somebody being too much of a hustler. So there are lots of these psychological and sociological factors that prevent her from being that kind of person. Like, I mean, she'd want to be there and do. So that is why the system, like for startups now, we have a lot of mentoring. So that has to be. So system also has to come to her rescue.
Yeah.
To something. So you know, because I mean, a male colleague of mine will say, "जी sir, मैं आपके साथ इस गाड़ी में घुस जाता हूँ, मैं आपके साथ आ रहा हूँ." You can hustle it. Women can't do that. They can't stay back late. They can't do this bonding over chai. But sir, मैं रात में आ जा रहा हूँ. They can't do that. There are it is different.
it is
True, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's be honest
There are
about it.
similarities.
And you know,
Okay.
I
So,
personally think I
have to look
personally
at that.
think if women have, whenever they come and we have 33% reservation, I think one of the most important aspect that they should definitely bring to the house is the idea of education. We still lack there majorly. Little girls, they do not get still educated despite so many schemes and everything. Second is safety, I think, which is very, very important. As long as women would not feel safe to go out, I think they will not be able to perform. So I think these two are very, very important aspects.
issues that women will bring up. We're totally out of time, so I'm going to call you all back again. Thank you for this discussion. I think we covered a lot of points that I haven't seen in any other discussion on the bill. So thank you all for this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Priya. Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.